Hello everyone, welcome back to another Magic the Gathering stream. Today we're going to be streaming some Modern. Once again, we're trying to break Ragavan. In my last iteration of a Ragavan deck, it was a Stoneforge Mystic Ragavan deck, and I was very impressed with this shell. Still impressed with this shell. I think it's very, very powerful, but I am going to take a slightly different route today. We're going to try out Ragavan in a similar counter suite style deck with Karn as the 4-drop of choice. And then we're going to be playing some of the artifact abuse cards, so to speak, in Thieving Skydiver, Prismari, Command, as well as the Liquimetal cards that were printed in MH2, and then Coding obviously being one that's been around for a little while. So I think this deck is interesting. It's definitely got some cool plays in it, so we'll see how it goes. We've definitely got some interesting synergies here. So yeah, definitely interested to see how this one goes. So yeah, let's just run it through a league. Hopefully we get some good games here. Thieving Skydiver does specifically say that the kicker cannot be 0. So you cannot steal lands for kicker is 0. That would be quite powerful. But that's okay. For the most part, it's not a huge deal. Just having to kick it for 1 and steal a land is fine enough most of the time. Generally speaking, you don't actually steal lands very often with this deck. I'll be honest with you, this seems like a fantastic matchup for us. But we'll see how this goes. I could be wrong. This could be a poor matchup for us. But Thieving Skydiver just having inherent value, even without the Liquimetal Coding in play, still seems kind of interesting. Do I think a Yorion version of my Jeskai list could be good? It's possible. I don't particularly think so, mainly just because I think that Yorion gets a lot of value out of blinking creatures in play, and while Stoneforge doesn't really mind that, Ragavan doesn't really get any value from being blinked. And Ragavan is one of your better creatures, so not a direction that I would personally take the deck, but you certainly could. Which way do I want to go this turn? I think we can bolt the Frogmite, play out Steam Vents, play out Ragavan. And then I guess maybe it's better to just dash Ragavan, get my damage in now, try and take a card from them. I don't hate that. I think I'm gonna do that, and then I still get to cast Lightning Bolt because we get the treasure off the Ragavan. Thought Monitor, that's not one I'm going to cast. I will go ahead and bolt this. Signal Pest. Okay, so what do we want to do here? We can go Thieving Skydiver, take their Razortide Bridge. Thieving Skydiver, take their Signal Pest. I think taking the Razortide Bridge seems like the most enticing line. They get to make 1 construct that way. And then next turn they have to go tap this, make another construct if they want to do that. And then it's like me on 4 lands versus their 1 land, 1 mana source, and then whatever card they get off the Saga. I could just steal a construct once they make a construct. But I think I'm more in on just taking their land. Take away your mana sources. Okay, we had a construct. We would really like a Prismari command here. That would be ideal. They just went and got another drum. Ooh, they had another saga. This is somewhat bad for us. Oh, and they have a Thought Monitor. That one's real bad for us. At least the Thieving Skydiver trades with the Thought Monitor. I will not block the 6/6. Okay, I'm gonna dash a Ragavan into play and attack with it. Pretty okay with this trade here. I will cast a Ragavan. Likely going to chump block the one of the constructs with a Thieving Skydiver. Although I'll be honest, I don't know that I'm beating the second Urza Saga, making 2 more constructs. Yeah, Shadow Spear is pretty bad for us. Man, they just had it all. Bunch of artifact guys. Actually, I just left myself dead. And I didn't even realize it, but they didn't kill me, so. No, Counterspell's not gonna do it here. I don't think that does it either. Good as it is, I don't think that does it here. We really need a 4-mana Karn early to kind of beat this deck. Blood Moon's quite good against them as well. Shenanigans also like pretty solid. Force of Negation's not amongst the better of the cards here, nor is Archmage's Charm, Counterspell. Like just having the counter suite is kind of awkward. You really want more cards that play to the board. And Ragavan's kind of awkward as well because it's a card that just gets blocked so easily by their little guys. So yeah, Urza Saga seems pretty good there. I have to agree with you. Urza Saga is very powerful in these decks. So I think I want the Blood Moons, and I think I want some number of Furies. Probably all 3 Furies. Question is, what am I boarding out for the Furies? And I actually think that you probably don't even really need the Liquid Metal package here because they're just inherently playing so many artifacts. So like these 6 cards in and like these 6 cards out, I don't hate that. Normally the Liquid Metal package is there to turn their stuff into artifacts, but their entire deck is pretty much artifacts, so kind of doesn't matter. I think I'm in on this. We just get a bunch of removal spells. Yeah, I'm in for this. We get to go turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 bolt their first creature out of the way. I think I am gonna lead on Fiery Islet into Ragavan because if we do draw a Blood Moon somewhere in our first 3 draws or so, 2 draws or so, then I think I'm gonna grab an island with this. I'd rather just have more blue mana post Blood Moon. Okay, they're choosing to dismember my monkey. I'll just play out Tarn, pass. We'll go grab an island with the Tarn and counterspell their next play, and then lead into Thieving Skydiver to likely steal their land. I am going to go ahead and just counterspell this Signal Pest. It's just a pest, you know? Get it out of the way. I'll probably play another 1-drop. They've got a Frogmite. Okay. Frogmite into... Ooh, Frogmite into Frogmite into Frogmite. That's pretty gnarly. Okay, well, I'll play Island and just play out Thieving Skydiver with Kicker for 1. Just steal their land. And I will trade Skydiver for 1 of the Frogmites. I'm just trying to mitigate some of the bleeding here. Okay, then I had another Citadel. 1000% blocking. I am going to shock here. I know it's a little bit awkward to shock against an aggressive deck, but I think I just want to spend my turn drawing 2 cards with Archmage's Charm unless they give me something to counter. I'm probably not supposed to counter this. I don't really care too much about this, although I suppose this does give them colored mana. This is fine. I'll let them have colored mana. It's not a huge deal. They're on affinity for 5 currently, so if they have a Thought Monitor, they do get to cast it. I will counter a Thought Monitor if they cast one. Yep. Kind of what I figured was happening. Go ahead and counter that, and then bolt one of these. He can hit me for 2. I'm probably going to start with cracking the Fire Islet. And we need some help from the top of our deck here. Counter that one. Going to 5. Guy's big. Dead next turn. So Prismari Command is probably our best draw here. I mean, that card also is pretty good here. We'll just do 4 damage to the Sojourner's Companion. Oh, wow. Fury looking pretty good here. Yep, he can get in for 1 infect. That's fine. Only thing to consider about casting this Blood Moon is the fact that it does shut off our draws to Archmage's Charm. It was a little bit awkward. We don't have 3 islands in play. We only have 2. But I think that's okay to make sure that they aren't getting in. Yeah, block. What? Okay. Bolt's not a bad draw. Okay. Springleaf Drum is fine. No attacks from my opponent. Counterspell is a fine draw. And Karn is likely going to wrap this one up here, if I had to guess. So what do we want to grab out of our sideboard? Crystal Shard seems interesting. Crystal Shard kind of just cleans up this board very cleanly. So I think this turn I'm actually just going to plus on a land, just eat a land. My opponent says, you hate affinity. No, I don't really hate affinity. I mean, like, I think affinity's in a good spot. So, you know, may as well play some cards that kill affinity, right? I just think there's a lot of artifacts running around, so. Playing Karn right now seems like a pretty solid idea. So yeah, Crystal Shard. I'm just gonna cast this. And I will not be activating it right now. Okay, my opponent has conceded. I don't know that this one's gonna be good enough, but let's see what my opponent did. They began the game with 7 cards in their hand. I'm probably supposed to aggressively force something if we keep this hand. So just kind of like stem the bleeding a little bit. I don't hate this hand because Archmage's Charm is pretty powerful in this deck. Against this particular matchup, you just kind of get to steal almost all of their permanents, and it's also just a counterspell. I'm gonna keep this one, but I think it's a little bit greedy. Okay, I want to let on a tap land. I'm 100% okay with that. I will also lead on a tap land. Don't really need more than 1 red mana, barring exactly Fury, so okay with Welding Jar. Yeah, Pest is annoying, but it's okay. Pest. Gonna pump each other now. Okay, I'm gonna play out a Flooded Strand, and I'm gonna go for Start of Combat Bolt on the Signal Pest. Because if they choose to Welding Jar it, it'll become tapped, and then the other one doesn't attack for anything. So it reduces their affinity count, which is good. Kind of just want to keep as many permanents off the board as you can, if possible. Interesting, my opponent chose not to Welding Jar the Signal Pest. I'm not going to crack the Flooded Strand. I am now. Maybe I'm not supposed to, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna just hold off on Blood Moon for 1 more turn. Blood Moon's really there to like beat Inkmoth Nexus, Urza Saga. I mean, like now he's played an Inkmoth Nexus, so like, yeah, maybe I'm supposed to play it, but it's not a huge deal. I'm just gonna draw 2 here. Grab an island, draw 2. I could take the Signal Pest, but I mean, this card doesn't do anything for me. I'm probably just supposed to play the Karn here, right? And I think I'm supposed to destroy the Welding Jar. just because, like I said earlier, I just kind of want to keep their affinity down. If they've got any number of affinity creatures in their hand, just taking more permanents off the board seems pretty solid. Obviously, this seems like a fairly good matchup for us, but it'll be interesting to see how this deck plays against other decks. This is one of the reasons that I chose to build this deck. I think that if Affinity's popular, Karn's pretty good. My opponent has conceded the match, so let's go to round 2 and see how the next match goes. Yeah, this hand seems solid. Sort of as I mentioned previously, Liquid Metal Torque, Liquid Metal Coating, these are all solid cards in tandem with Prismari Command. So it's kind of the game plan here. Which one we play on turn 2? It's kind of up for debate. I think given that my opponent led on Soulscar Mage, I'm probably supposed to lead on Torque. Maybe it doesn't really matter. I'm probably just supposed to play Coding and not think about it too much. Just simply because Coding can target either a creature or a land. It just kind of gives me the choice. I'm not going to use the mana from the Torque this turn, so. So do we Shatter Shock now? I don't hate it. Maybe I'm supposed to go Shatter Draw 2. Like Loot 2. So we turn the Soulscar Mage into an artifact. And they have, so we can turn the Steam Bends into an artifact, and then go Shatter Shock, kill the Soulscar Mage, shatter their Steam Bends, which seems pretty good. But if they have any piece of interaction, Lightning Bolt, Lava Dart, anything like that, then the 2 damage to the Soulscar Mage won't kill it. So I think just shattering the Soulscar Mage makes more sense, and then looting too. Obviously, if they have a Spell Pierce here. None of this matters, but I'll go ahead and do this here. This is now an artifact. Draw to destroy target artifact. So I will draw to destroy this artifact. And then if they have a Spell Pierce, like I said, none of this matters. Oh. That just resolved. Do I want 2 islands? Do I want this Fiery Islet? I don't really want Fiery Islet against the deck that's dealing me a bunch of damage, so I'm gonna discard like this. Just keep one of the basic islands. Okay, bolt me into probably, Stormwing. Another Prismari Command would be pretty good for us here. Archmage's Charm is not a bad one. So we'll play out Ragavan and hold up our 2 pieces of counter magic. Probably supposed to counter the iteration. I think I'll use Counter Spell here. Drew another Stormwing entity. Card's pretty scary. I would like to draw 2, looking for a Lightning Bolt. Karn is not a bad one. Go ahead and play out Liquid Metal Torque and pass. Probably dead this turn, if I had to guess. My opponent has a lot of ways to deal extra damage with these things. Morphos, Morphos, any other spell. Yep. Fury is somewhat interesting. I'm usually not the biggest fan of Force of Negation in this matchup. Ragavan's also not at its greatest, because he just kind of dies. But I think I'm in on Forces over, or Furies over Forces. This card just interacts with the board, whereas Force does not. It also just sits in play once you cast it for 5 and blocks really well. Or sort of well. I don't know if I'd say really well. Yeah, and kind of stinks. This one's better. Probably supposed to keep this and bottom the Fury. Just kind of the most awkward card in the hand, given that I think the plan is to bolt whatever they play on turn 1 and then lead on coding. Coding if we draw land, probably counterspell if we don't. So I'm gonna lead on Tarn. Okay, my opponent also led on a Scalding Tarn. I think given that, I'm okay with playing out the Liquid Metal Coating here. And we'll just try and take their 1-mana creature if they have one. Although we may get Spell Pierced here. Yep, pretty A-okay with this. I guess ideally, we want to see them play Manamorphose into... Okay, this card's not too bad either. I'm okay with this play. We'll go bolt this and then untap when we have Counterspell up. Fury's a solid draw. Yeah. No thank you, sir. Counter that one. Yeah, we're probably gonna dash this Ragavan into play. Try and get in there for 2. Hopefully get a pretty solid card off my opponent's deck. Ragavan may not make it to combat. Looks like he's dying. No, the monkey. I will definitely say Thieving Skydiver is not one of the more powerful spells in Modern if it's not paired with anything. You really need one of your Liquid Metal cards in order for this card to be any good, and it looks pretty poor here. And I did not want a second copy. I suppose we're probably just supposed to play one out as a blocker. or just something that clocks my opponent. Pretty a-okay if this trades with literally any spell. If this eats the back half of a lava dart or the front half of a lava dart, pretty a-okay with that. Okay, Stormwing Entity. Yeah, I would have liked to have had that counterspell last turn. Now we're probably just gonna die to this Stormwing Entity, unfortunately. I will counter that one. Oh, that one's pretty good. Prismari Command is interesting for sure. We can go Fury, exile the Prismari Command, and 0.4 damage at the 2 creatures, and they have to dart us in response, but like, that's not very good for us. I think we're dead. Because unfortunately, I don't think there's a sequence where we can go Prismari Command your Sprite Dragon for 2 and loot 2. And then we would draw 2 cards, discard 2, and we need to find... yeah, we need to find like red card for Fury, and that puts them down to 1 land. I mean, that's like our best line, I guess. So 2 damage to the Sprite Dragon. I will draw 2, discard 2. And I need to find a red card to pair with this Fury. Interesting. Okay. They just let that one go. Well, in that case, I'm gonna bin the 2 blue cards and then play out my counter spell, or play out my Flooded Strand. Am I just dead next turn if they just like go in on this guy? Probably. I mean, they probably got more spells in their hand, obviously. So they're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they need basically 1 other spell, 1 other damage spell. Or if I just fetch, I'm dead. I'm gonna concede to that one. That one kills me, almost assuredly. I didn't do the math, but I trust my opponent. I have died. That seems like a pretty poor matchup for us, I'm not gonna lie. We need stuff like kind of going for us already in order for that matchup to be good. That's gotta be why this deck is like not very popular as it is. Obviously, like I said beforehand, Thieving Skydiver is not amongst your better options. In all fairness, during the challenge on Saturday, I ran into that deck a handful of times, probably five matches throughout the day, and my Ragavan connected a lot more than it did in that particular match. I didn't really play against a ton of actual Lava Dart decks. I played against a lot more like Dragon's Rage Channeler decks. I think people are trying to figure out how to play that new card, and just play Lava Dart. Good. It's a good card. I mean, you can play Lava Dart in your Dragon's Rage Channeler deck, but I just didn't have very many situations that came up like that. Nicode Gone. Appreciate the follow, man. Thanks for tuning in. If you're just now stopping in, we are playing a blue-red Karn deck that is trying to play Karn a little early off of Ragavan, and we're going to abuse a bunch of synergies with not only Ragavan, but also Prismari Command and the Liquid Metal Coating cards. So I'm going to put Counterspell on the bottom and just hope to play a Karn on turn 3. That's the game plan, at least, with a counterspell backup on turn 2. My opponent has mulliganed to 5. Turn 1 Cavern. Amulet. Elf. Oof. Probably a terrible matchup for us. I don't know, we'll have to see. The monkey's never getting in, though. Almost assuredly. And I did not want to see second monkey. I bet Fury's pretty great in this matchup. So we'll see if we get to do that. If my opponent plays a 3-drop, as long as it doesn't have 3 toughness, probably going to attack into it. Nettle Sentinel. Okay, well, I'll attack into a Nettle Sentinel. Here to party. Hey, Kostek. Welcome to the party. So far, we are 1-1 with Blue-Red Karn. Blue-Red Karn Monkey. I'm not really sure what to call this deck yet, I'll be honest with you. Kostek. Is it like Caustic Caterpillar? Castic? But yeah, we're playing, we're 1-1 with Blue-Red Karn. We pretty easily, it's pronounced Caustic. Okay, gotcha. We're 1-1. We lost to Blue-Red Spells, but we beat the Affinity deck to the surprise of exactly no one. So it's kind of weird to me that they played Pendlehaven and tapped it here. They could have just cast the Heritage Druid off of the Cavern. Yeah, I'm like this is what I want here, right? So I'm gonna play out second monkey. And then play an island and say go. Like the Apex Legend. Ah, okay. Well, I suppose that makes sense to some of you, but I don't personally play Apex Legends, so. Don't mean to burst anyone's bubble. Elvish Visionary, this powerful card. It's a powerful Magic the Gathering card. So yeah, like this is much better for my opponent to leave up Pendlehaven. Ooh, Realm Walker. Card's real good here. Kind of wish I left up Counterspell now for the Realm Walker, but it is what it is. Lightning Bolt off the top. One time, dealer. No luck. We'll play out Flooded Strand and pass. Next turn, we get to go Karn into probably Walking Ballista is like our best card. Yeah, probably Walking Ballista. Got an elf on top. This is in their hand, so that tells me that they probably don't have another elf on top. Cavern's definitely messing us up a little bit here. Mari Command's kind of an interesting draw. So now we can go. I'm probably supposed to kill the Azuri. I might not live if I don't kill the Azuri. Do they have enough mana to activate it? They do. Just have to tap their heritage. The thing is like, do I care about an attack if they have to tap half their creatures just to get in with the Azuri? I'm not sure that I do. Do I have a Torque to grab out of my sideboard? No, just a Coding. Torque would be slightly better here because we do need like a little bit extra mana. And we really only want to interact with creatures. I don't really care about their lands at this point. So if we go Prismari Command to deal 2 damage to the Azuri, I think the other mode is gotta be draw 2, discard 2, and I'm just gonna try and like loot through these counterspell and Thieving Skydiver. And then if we draw into a bolt, we can obviously bolt the Realm Walker. That would be ideal. And then we get to land Karn next turn. I don't hate it. I don't hate that line. The alternative is to play Karn, go grab an artifact. Mostly what I'm interested in is either Walking Ballista, which we can cast for 2, which is not super great. It's nothing to go crazy about. Liquid Metal Coating is fine because it gets sort of starts turning on some of our additional plays here. So how much damage are we taking if we just leave the Azuri in play? They get to go tap this for mana, probably along with these here, and then they attack for 5, 10, and we go to 9. I probably can't take that hit, so I'm gonna go draw 2, discard 2, and just deal 2 damage. So 2 damage here, draw 2, discard 2. I like Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt's a good card. We're gonna discard Thieving Skydiver and Counterspell. And I will bolt the Realm Walker. I think that was like best possible. Especially given that my opponent chose not to regenerate the Realm Walker. I guess it kind of doesn't matter because we just get to bolt it on their upkeep if they choose to regenerate this turn. Maybe I was supposed to discard the Spirebluff Canal because it's kind of awkward now just entering as a tap land on turn 5. And keep like Skydiver in my hand probably. It's probably supposed to do that, but not a huge deal. Attack with the elf, attack with the elf. Leaving back Heritage Druid. I mean, their plan here is to pump with Pendlehaven if I block, I assume. And then like leave 1 back so they can, yeah, they just drew a land. And now Karn is gonna be pretty good on a mostly empty board here. Again, what am I grabbing? I think I'm gonna grab Walking Ballista, and then if they attack, it's not a huge deal. Like if they just send 3 at the Karn, I'm probably just supposed to let them send 3 at the Karn, and we try to get in with our Monkey next turn. And then, you know, we get to cast Walking Ballista, obviously. So not a huge deal. Archmage's Charm is somewhat of an interesting one. This gives us the ability to steal one of their 1-drops if we want to. Probably supposed to attack before giving me the information on what you drew. Maybe they drew a Realm Walker and they drew Visionary. Company. Card's pretty good here. That was a whiff though. Collected Company is not always great. It's only great most of the time. Attack me for 1. By all means, dude. You can attack me for 1 all day. I'm gonna go ahead and draw a liquid metal coating here. And jam a ballista for 3. I'm just gonna say go. The longer this gets to sit and play, the better it is for us. Opponent's draws have not been super great. Even when they drew the one collected company, it just kind of looked somewhat silly because it didn't hit anything. So the question is, am I supposed to kill the cavern? Am I supposed to kill the Pendlehaven? I think the answer is kill the cavern, because then we have the opportunity to counter basically whatever they draw off the top with Archmage's Charm. So we're gonna go ahead and kill this. Is Monkey that strong in Modern? Been seeing it a lot. Not sure if I should keep my 3 copies or trade off. I mean, I think that's, you know, obviously dependent on whether or not you are interested in playing the Monkey. I am personally a huge fan of this Monkey Pirate. The thing is that I think as the format continues to progress, people will begin to figure out that the Monkey is a must-kill threat. I think to some degree, the performance that you're seeing from Ragavan right now is because people think they can sort of get away with letting it live for a turn. But realistically, you should kill the Monkey on sight 100% of the time. And it's pretty easy to kill. It's a 2/1 creature. So he's not, you know, he's nothing like super crazy in terms of his stats. So I think that you could definitely leave, see Monkey decline in playability as Modern continues to progress. However, right now at this current juncture, I think the Monkey is fantastic. So we're gonna take the Pendlehaven off the table, and then what else do I want to do this turn? I'm just gonna hold up double Archmage's Charm and Prismari Command. Do I think Monkey fits in Delver lists? I do not think that Delver of Secrets is a playable modern card. But yes, to answer your question, I think Monkey definitely fits in a deck like that. I think that the list that I played on Saturday, the Jeskai Monkey Blade deck, Bozo Fiesta, appreciate the follow. Thanks for tuning in. Let me go ahead and pump this guy just to kind of get him up there. How's this list treating me? This list is pretty good so far. It'll be interesting to see how it continues to progress. Caustic, appreciate the follow. Thanks for tuning in. I don't necessarily think this deck is like particularly call me Big Jose. Oh, okay, whatever you say, sir. How you doing, Jose? Everything going okay? I was talking about Delver. Yeah, I don't think Delver is like a particularly modern playable card, but you know, if you want to play a Delver list, then yes, I think Ragavan definitely fits in that style of a deck. But as Freedmania said, DRC Dragon's Rage Channeler is a much better modern threat than Delver of Secrets is. So I would definitely choose to play Dragon's Rage Channeler over Delver of Secrets. Congrats on your finish, but I appreciate it, man. Saturday's tournament was a lot of fun to play in. Putting a Sword of Feast and Famine on a Monkey was a ton of fun. Game after game after game. So how do I want to board in this matchup? The thing about elves is like counter magic is kind of awkward against elves because for the most part, they're going to play like a 1-mana 1/1 and like your counter spell trades down on mana. Obviously, they're going to have important spells like Realm Walker and Collected Company, things like that. Azuri, the 3-mana elves. Those are spells that you're going to want to counter if you can, but realistically, like you're probably not going to get the opportunity to counter it because they've got Veil of Summer, they've got Cavern of Souls, you know, things like that. So the counter suite is not optimal in this style of a matchup. I definitely think Fury is a little bit better for this style of a game. You want sort of things that play to the board. Yeah, I'm interested in potentially boarding out Force of Negation as well. I agree with that assessment. So I'm considering it's between like Force or like one of these counter spells. Force being 0 mana is somewhat appealing because you can just kind of tap out and do whatever you need to and then force their Coco off the top. More often than not, they're going to end up Cocoing on your own turn. So it kind of seems like whatever for Force. So I think we're on the basis of board out Force. Oh yeah, no, I'm as far as like the counter suite goes, between Force of Negation, Counterspell, and Archmage's Charm is the best one. Archmage's Charm does let you steal an elf, and then draws you extra cards in the late game. Fury, great, right here. I'm just gonna let them like pile up on the board, just like play dudes, and I'm just gonna cast a Fury, kill all the dudes. I'm just gonna cast a Pyrokinesis. I'm gonna kill all the elves with a red effect, just as Richard Garfield intended. I went 4-1-5-0 with your Just list, or at least Nassif's take on it. Nice, nice. Stealing Germ tokens has been nice, especially one equipped with Cauldron. Yeah. I definitely think that that Jeskai list has been really, really impressive. So it's been fun to see like other people sort of have their take on how they would build it. I definitely think that there's a couple directions that you can go, especially with the sideboard. You can definitely mess with that list to improve on it, because I would say that the way that I built it with the 3 subtleties, not super great in the sideboard. It's your boy Suicide. I appreciate the follow. Thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah, the 3 subtleties in the sideboard was not like amongst the better choices for the sideboard. It's kind of, subtlety's been a very subpar card in my opinion. Just seeing it play out in actual games of Magic has been far less impressive than it seems on paper. Elvish Arc Druid. The thing is like, I almost feel like I just don't care. Like I want to stop them from making mana. But like the Fury just like cleans everything up so nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt the Arc Druid, but only because I really just kind of want to hold up Counterspell on this turn. But they have Cavern anyway, so it just kind of like meh. Subtlety seems best in the Cascade decks. Maybe only want 1 in mid-range and control. Yeah, I mean like the evoke creatures in general seem really good in like Living End, if that's what you mean by Cascade decks. I don't necessarily think that subtlety is all that impressive in the Crashing Footfalls deck, but it's like okay, right? I mean, I guess it's interaction that you can play that doesn't get cascaded into, so there's that, but it's still just like okay. They tap Cavern for Elf? Okay, I was like, is this... I don't know what's going on. Counter spell. Yeah. Alright, here's what I want to see. Llanowar Elves. Llanowar Elves. Llanowar Elves. Heritage Druid. Just keep Just keep putting them in play, dude. Just keep them coming. All right, here we go. We're in good shape. Elvish War Master is gonna make a 1/1. That's okay. Oh, and a Realm Walker? Okay, all right. Realm Walker is definitely the scariest card here, so I think I do have to take that one off the table, as much as I would like to just like, you know, just kind of go crazy on all these creatures here. The Realm Walker seems like the most impressive, but we get to do this for 0 mana, and then and just keep going with our game plan here. Possible I'm supposed to just draw 2 with this, but given that I drew a land, I'm not going to. I'm just gonna do this for 0 mana, evoke this. Fury your board. So we're gonna do 3 damage to the Realm Walker and probably just kill the Heritage Druid. Heritage Druid seems like the best option. So 1, 2, 3, and say okay. Yeah, but no, I'm the Jeskai Stoneblade deck. I think the changes that I've seen Nassif make have made a lot of sense. I haven't played with Fury much. This is the first deck that I've actually played with Fury. I want to counter on this. Kinda, just because it makes a token. Maybe I'm just gonna draw 2. I'll just like let this go and I'll just draw 2. Just leave up my counter spell for whatever else. I think I'll draw 2 in response actually. Because if we draw a lightning bolt, I can just bolt this. Okay. This is a tad bit awkward. Monkey's pretty nuts. Monkey is great. The monkey's been fabulous. Interesting to see them attack with Nettle Sentinel after casting their elf. Probably gonna Pendlehaven this if I had to guess. Just try and get in for maximum damage. We'll see. We may still lose this game even though we drew a Fury. Fury would be great here too. Okay, another land is not. I'm just gonna play out my Skydivers. I'll just play out 1 and just try and trade with the Elvish War Master. They kind of have to leave the War Master in play for as long as they can. You haven't lived until you played a turn 1 Monkey versus Adnaz. You get to play Lotus Bloom off the top, because that's pretty sweet. I think that's how that works. No, but you get their visions, pentads, Phyrexian on life spoils. I mean, you know, like Monkey's like great against like basically every deck, right? You know, just kind of like just getting to cast spells off of your opponent's deck is like pretty great. I got to against the I think it was in the quarterfinals. I got to take a so I had Teferi Time Raveler that I played off my own deck, and then I took my opponent's Teferi Time Raveler and bounced their like General Pharaoh, whatever, the new 3/1 that makes tokens. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, like yeah, any matchup where the monkey's just not gonna die is pretty great. He's pretty free. It's a lot of fun to play him in those matchups. So I'm good. Okay, well, I mean, Lightning Bolt's not the worst, but I mean, I really need a Fury here to start pulling ahead, or like a Karn would be great too. I am going to play out my second Thieving Skydiver. Have not found a single Liquid Metal effect. It's possible we're supposed to be playing more Liquid Metal Torques. Liquid Metal, I mean, like if we had any Liquid Metal coating effect here, these Thieving Skydivers would be absurd on this board. Just like play this 3 mana 2/1 that steals a creature. I'm gonna block here. Take 4, 5. I'm probably supposed to bolt one of the creatures, whichever one they Pendlehaven. Oh, okay. It's kind of awkward, but yeah, I'll kill this. Why not? We'll go to 2. It's a little bit awkward that I don't actually think that Karn is good enough anymore. Yeah, we are dead. I think Fury is good enough there. Fury gets us out of that spot. So if you draw Fury, you get to kill these 4 1/1s, and then you have a blocker for the Nettle Sentinel if they have a creature, and then you get to eat the other 1/1. Considerations? No changes. Run it back. Ragavan. Ragavan Bolt. This is the combo, boys. Spirebluff Canal, Ragavan Bolt. This is the combo. That's the one. Get him out of the way. Smack you. Me an elf. Not that one. I don't want that big of an elf. I wanted a somewhat smaller, low to the ground elf. Ragavan's still not obviously terrible here, even if it's not going to get in for another attack here on this next turn because they're likely going to play elf. At least made us a treasure, which does put us 1 turn ahead on just casting Fury from our hands. We need 1 extra land drop, and then we can play Fury. Ideally, we draw a Liquid Metal effect on this next turn. It would be great if we drew exactly Liquid Metal Torque, because that would both give us the mana needed to cast Fury next turn, and also a way to interact with our opponent's creatures, turn them into artifacts, that sort of thing. So it's possible this deck wants a 3rd Liquid Metal Torque, because you just have so many ways of interacting with your opponent's artifacts. Once they're in play, you just need them to have artifacts. Just like, give me artifacts to interact with, please. Probably not supposed to attack with the monkey into the Elvish Visionary. I don't really think that trade is worth it. Still just holding up Counterspell here, which is pretty good. Elvish Arc Druid is what they reveal. Tells me they're probably going to play that. No thank you, sir. Third Thieving Skydiver. That's not it, Chief. Part of the reason why I went in on the full 4 Prismari commands is because there are hands like this in the deck where you just kind of draw the wrong half, right? And having Prismari command in your deck gives you a way to sort of cycle through all of it, which is nice. This is a pretty good draw. Land is great here because it lets us just jam our Fury into play and then get in with the monkey. So 1 damage here, 2 damage here. Yeah, there's not any other way to... This doesn't go at players, right? Yeah, creatures or planeswalkers. Wait, turn off auto yields. Forgot I can get a card off this. Elf. Collected Company. Let's cast that one. I'll put 2 more monkeys into play. We're gonna make a mirror hall deck where we just try and play multiple monkeys. Fury just like clocks our opponent super quick here too. So him being just a very, very fast clock is also ideal. I'm gonna go ahead and crack the Fiery Islet. Metal Torque's pretty solid here. That's a card that lets us start taking our opponent's stuff. I'll just get in with the Fury. Coco in their main phase. I feel like this is just better for us because this just gives me more targets with Torque. Like I'm just gonna target whatever creature I want to and take it next turn. Give me that one. Give me that one. I get my pick. Chat, I can have a Realm Walker or an Elvish Arc Druid. I get the choice. Let me pick. I guess maybe I don't know what they were looking for there. Like maybe they're looking for like Rex Sage or something. I don't know. Just gonna go grab another Steam Vents. Not really any reason not to against this particular matchup. We're not playing Blood Moon right now. So yeah, we'll turn like the Arc Druid into, I guess I could turn the Realm Walker into an artifact and take that. Realm Walker draws them more cards. And then if we attack with Fury, they have to block with Elvish Mystic. And they probably want to block the Ragavan too. I think that's probably the best line because it kind of makes their play the most awkward. So I'll take the Realm Walker. Now I'm definitely attacking with the monkey because we have another one on top. And we know. I was like, what? We're tapping the Elvish Mystic. Okay, so Chump with Fury. Are we letting the monkey in? We let the monkey in. Wanted to keep the Elvish Arc Druid around. Blooming Marsh on top of their deck. I guess that makes sense. They had a Realm Walk. Well, no, they Realm Walkered in their main phase. And they didn't have any mana left, so. They're going to need a really, really good turn to get out of this. So what does Torque do? Just ramp and sometimes turn off creatures or a spicy interaction in the format for it. Yeah, there is definitely a spicy interaction. So Torque is specifically there to turn permanents into artifacts, so that way you can get the 2-for-1 value with Prismari command. Prismari command always having the mode of destroy target artifact makes Liquid Metal Torque and Liquid Metal Coating very interesting. So this deck is sort of a different iteration of a deck that was previously attempted in older formats. It was like shortly after Thieving Skydiver was printed into Modern, there was a couple decks running around where people were playing Liquid Metal Coating in the main deck, so that you play Liquid Metal Coating on turn 1, or turn 2 rather, sorry. Liquid Metal Coating on turn 2, you turn their land into an artifact, and then you play Thieving Skydiver on turn 3, and you take their land, right? So now that puts an extra land in your play for you, so you have an extra mana source, and it also takes one away from your opponent, which can be very, very powerful. Liquid Metal Torque, however, doesn't target lands, so this is mostly there just as an extra way to, for one, it's just a mana source, so it's like not terrible. It lets you play Karn on turn 3, which is nice. It lets you play Fury a turn early, which is perfectly fine. But for the most part, this is just there as a way to interact with your opponent's creatures. So for example, on this particular turn, we're likely going to turn one of these creatures into an artifact, and we're going to steal it with this Thieving Skydiver. Which creature we turn into an artifact is somewhat up in the air. You're definitely getting in with the Thieving Skydiver. This is flying, and nothing else on the board has flying. So what's the scariest creature here? If we take the Arc Druid, they get to tap it in response for mana. So we have a tapped creature. If we take the Azuri, they're sort of forced into tapping this to regenerate if they want to use that ability this turn. I think I'm in on taking the Azuri. I think this is the most powerful permanent in play. So, please let me win, is what my opponent said. I really need this, please. I'm sorry, sir. I don't just give out. Don't give out handouts. I'm sorry. Arc Druid is a problem once they draw a payoff. Yeah, I mean, the thing is like they've had Arc Druid in play for 2 turns, and they just, I mean, like they've had payoffs in the sense of like they've had collected companies. Gato Galato 00, appreciate the follow. Thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah, no, but my opponent's had like payoffs pretty much like turn after turn after turn in the form of collected company, but it just hasn't been effective. Like it just kind of, I mean, like it's cool. Like they put some more creatures into play. They put Elvish Warmaster and they put Azuri into play. So like they're still doing things, but it's just not keeping up. Like they had to double chump block there. So we're just kind of in great shape. Your turn, sir. OP in the chat. I sorry. I ruined this man's whole career. I'm sorry. Oh, are we paying 1 life? They abrupt decayed my Thieving Skydiver. It says it right here. But they paid life to do it. I have to imagine that was intentional. I don't know. All right, we're 2-1. We lost to blue-red spells, which I think is kind of to be expected. We're kind of playing just a big, dumb planeswalker deck. Like Karn is kind of, I mean, like, you know, like the spell pierce is like very, very good against us. So they're just kind of playing like a really well-built spell pierce deck and then just a bunch of damage. It's hard for us to sort of interact with everything they're doing. We don't have a ton of cheap interaction. Lightning Bolt is obviously like the worst interaction for blue-red spells. It's fine, you know, obviously it just being like a 1-mana removal spell is good, but they just get to counter it with mutagenic growth, and they get to counter it, you know, if they have any number of spells on their own turn. So like, you know, like it's like on turn 1, if they play a prowess creature, it's countered by exactly mutagenic growth, which is already not like great. We're already at a disadvantage. There's already a world where we lose this game just because my opponent played a prowess creature and they mental misstepped my my lightning bolt. So yeah, lightning bolt not one of the better cards against that particular matchup. I was playing a braid at one point in this deck. I wouldn't put it past you to put more braids in this deck, but I think that you just kind of have to find room for the 4th Prismari command and the 5th torque effect. I almost want a 6th torque effect. I almost want like a 6th liquid metal effect or whatever, because liquid metal coating is great. Liquid metal torque is also great, but I think just like you just kind of want to have it in every game. So if you are missing it in any of those games, it's kind of awkward when you don't have it. Perhaps we're not supposed to, like the worst card in this deck so far that we've seen is Thieving Skydiver, right? It is a little bit awkward to play Counterspell alongside these 2-mana artifacts that you want to play on turn 2. Like this whole package is great. The turn 2 artifact into turn 3 interaction is great because like this making things artifacts and then this 2-for-1ing your opponent and this just being an interaction spell is great. Force of Negation is great all around. But these cards right here are like the most awkward ones in this deck, I feel like. So perhaps we should build another version of this deck that doesn't necessarily rely on Counterspell Thieving Skydiver, but you know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I think, you know, the interaction between Thieving Skydiver and Liquid Metal Coating is so powerful. I think you almost have to play it if you are going to build this deck. So it'll be interesting to see which direction we needed to take it in. Yeah, I'll keep this. This hand has a turn 2 coating and 2 counter spells in it. So I think I'm probably going to hold up counterspell on turn 2 rather than play the coating out because we don't currently have any way to interact with artifacts anyways. So may as well just hold up the counter magic and interact with our opponent rather than play a card that doesn't do anything. Probably lead on Steam Vents here. I was almost terrified there, guys. My opponent went Spirobluff Canal, Suspend Ancestral Vision, and for a brief moment, my heart stopped because I thought they were going to play a monkey. Imagine suspending Ancestral Visions in this day and age. Raider Gargadon. My opponent's on some stuff over there. Opponent's doing some interesting things. I think we're gonna lead out on Flooded Strand. Well, I mean, if we had played Liquid Metal Coating on turn 2 and then had a Prismari command, it'd be pretty good here. Well, I say pretty good. We can't like 2-for-1 them. We just get to blow up a land and then loot two. Hi, Pionki, 69. I appreciate the follow. Thanks for tuning in. I think I'm gonna go coding here. Just hold up counterspell. Still have no idea what my opponent's doing. It's probably an Asphodel deck with the white I can't remember the name of the card, but the white balance, restore balance, that one. Because they're probably just going to play like Electro Dominance or As Foretold, cast Restore Balance, and then sacrifice their lands. Yeah, you can draw 3 cards. That's fine. I mean, like, I'm okay with my opponent drawing cards because like they haven't done anything. So, I mean, this just makes them go to hand size anyways. So. Transmute Teleria West. You got it, bud. For another Ancestral Vision. Okay. Do you plan on doing anything? Point? Probably supposed to draw 2. Nope. I'm gonna draw 2. Should play out the monkey. I don't know why I'm fetching. I'm gonna grab an island with this. Okay, he died. I don't really want to spend this liquid metal coating blowing up my opponent's lands either, because like most likely we're gonna have to interact with an As Foretold or a Restore Balance or something of that nature. Well, I mean, as far as permanents go, it's the As Foretold, but let's crack this. Play out Fire Bluff Canal tapped. Aspired Pro MTG, I appreciate the follow. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Finale of Promise, recasting Ancestral Vision and Opt. Pretty cute. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. That's fine. I mean, I don't have a response anyways, so. My opponent is definitely outvaluing me. They are definitely the more value-oriented blue-red deck. Hopefully we can stick a Karn here in one of these next few turns. Ideally to start drawing some extra cards. So I'm gonna go draw 2, discard 2, destroy target artifact. Perhaps I'm not supposed to do this just because I mean, okay. We'll discard these 2 lands. Little bit awkward, I'm not gonna lie. Is this what you call the wrong half? No, this is the right half, I'm pretty sure. I would like to draw 2, please. Skydiver's not a bad one. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that again. Maybe not actually. So really quick, I'm going to pull up something here. Restore balance, that one. Okay, so each player chooses a number of lands they control equal to the number of lands controlled by the player and sacrifices the rest. Player sacrifices creatures and discards cards the same way. Okay, so it does not interact with artifacts, so I can play my artifacts out. Am I supposed to make a treasure token with this and draw 2, discard 2? That's the question. I think that's almost correct. It's definitely interesting. Does dig us to Karn. So I'm gonna make a treasure token, draw 2, discard 2. Nope, not destroy target artifact. Draw 2, discard 2, and make a treasure. I will discard these lightning bolts. Yep, you can bolt me, dude. I've been bolted. Probably gonna coding just like the canal and take it. Give it. Give me. Go on. Go on, give it here. Give me that. Tap for red. Do I get it? Is it mine? Oh, yeah, he's got a Gargadon. He's got a Gargadon on suspend. He's not going to give it to me. Is this like Electro Dominance for 1? Okay. What are we casting off Electro Dominance? Crashing Footfalls. No, please. Give me the canal. Okay, no. My opponent said no. This is a pretty rough matchup, I'm not gonna lie. Like all of my interaction pieces are with their permanents and they just don't have very many permanents. We just haven't drawn drawn a Karn either. This matchup probably doesn't get better for us either after board. Like we get, I don't know, shenanigans, I guess. Like shenanigans isn't terrible. Maybe they're not on Restore Balance. I mean, they have to be on Restore Balance, right? Because they've got a Gargadon. They are sacking all their lands. Yes. Balance. I will bring balance to the world. No, please. Please don't do that. Yeah, I think the only card I really want here is Shenanigans. And like Bolt is not that great. I would like for my monkey to continue to get in. I would like to play a monkey on turn 1 and have him get in every single turn. I could board in like Blood Moon, but like there's just also a blue-red deck, so it's like not that great. Other cards that I could board in be like Relic. I guess Relic at least cycles. And it beats Relic cycles and it beats Finale of Promise. I'm in for Relic. Lightning Bolt's not doing anything in this matchup. Man, imagine saying something bad about your opponent playing a turn 1 Ancestral Visions and then losing. Imagine being that guy. I am sorry, opponent. I did not mean to disrespect you. You got the bolt? You don't have to have the bolt. You could not have the bolt. Interesting that my opponent is bolted, I think twice now, on my upkeep rather than on their own turn. They're choosing to play around Force of Negation and not Spell Pierce, which I think is correct. I think it's more and normal for these decks to be playing Force of Negation than it is for them to be playing Spell Pierce. So I'm gonna go probably coding Skydiver. Maybe I'm supposed to coding Prismari Command on their upkeep. I don't really need like these extra liquid metal coatings effects. It'd be good if I drew Karn. Let's do this on my opponent's upkeep. I'm gonna take a trick out of your book there, Shiny boy. I'll let you opt. That's fine. I think I'll go ahead and do this now. And then the only other card that they can interact with is Force of Negation, and I'm like pretty okay with them forcing this. So we'll go draw 2, destroy target artifact. So draw 2, discard 2, destroy this artifact. Wow, they had a Spell Pierce. That's disgusting. Obviously, we can play out Torque and then play Thieving Skydiver, but I'm not actually sure that we're supposed to play out Torque because, well, it's just like, I think I'd rather just loot it away with the Prismari command if we draw another one. I am going to try and steal their Canal, though. I have to have a counterspell here. And they probably do, but... oh, well, maybe not. Okay, they're choosing to tap it. That's fine. Okay, and Thieving Skydiver died. He didn't make it. Probably going to do the same thing here. Just try and go Shatter, draw 2, discard 2. And my opponent's upkeep here. We'll do this on the Steam Vents, I think. It's not unlikely that they're playing some number of Sulfur Falls. So destroying the actual card with the land type. Draw 2 and destroy target artifacts. We're going to do that. Probably have a counterspell here. Amplanox, appreciate the follow. Thanks for tuning in, man. Ill-fated. Is that ill-fated? Hey, congrats on winning the challenge. Watch your games back, and you played really well. Oh, I appreciate that, man. I think that that tournament was a ton of fun to play, so I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, I'm just gonna discard the 2 coding effects, and that's probably fine. Opponent suspends a Gargadon. I will play out a Karn the Great Creator. And I will go ahead and... Okay, my opponent has conceded from the game. They were going to get to sack that land to the Gargadon, so it kind of doesn't matter which one I pick. I'm probably supposed to pick the Spire Bluff Canal, but like again, I don't think it really matters too much. So, okay, going into game 3. Any changes that I want to make? Suppose you could mainboard Crystal Shard, but it's not like crazy cool. So let's just run this back and see how this treats us. Again, I think this matchup's kind of poor for us, but my opponent's definitely playing a much bigger control deck than we are. They got card draw spells and an interesting combo. I'm probably supposed to mulligan this. Torque is like our worst liquid metal effect, and we only have 1 land. Keep this one, and we'll bottom. I don't think it matters too much. We'll just bottom the steam vents. I'm probably supposed to hold up Counterspell this turn. Play out Flooded Strand and pass. I think I'm just gonna Counterspell this. I kind of want to just trade card for card here. I just want to just make sure that I spend my mana this turn some way. And like the only, like on turn 3, I'm worried most about As Foretold. And like if they're just not choosing to cast As Foretold, like I'm pretty okay. Go ahead and draw 2. Play out Liquid Metal Coating. Opponent's on 1 counter for Ancestral Vision. I think I'm supposed to counterspell that in their upkeep. This is where I cast Misdirection. Did you mean to target me, sir? Okay. Kind of was expecting some amount of interaction from our opponent, so I don't really mind trading counter for counter again. I know they're going to draw a bunch of cards, but I think this game is going to come more down to us just being ahead on mana. And I'm just going to start blowing up the red sources here turn after turn with the shenanigans. So we'll go Coating your Fiery Islet. Shenanigans your Fiery Islet. And then if obviously if they have Force of Negation, that's like the worst case scenario for the shenanigans, but it's not the end of the world. Yes. Okay. Sack it to Gargadon. Steam Vents. Shock. Dash my Ragavan. Can't play that one. I wasn't actually sure. But that's why I attempted to play it. If it had given me the opportunity to cast it, I was not going to. Would have been really awkward if I just clicked on this and it was like, all right, put it on the stack. It wouldn't be the end of the world, I guess, for us. We would sack 2 lands and they would have to discard 3 cards. Although we would have to sacrifice our monkey. It'd be really awkward. Opponent has suspended yet another Gargadon. Okay, do we want to shenanigans again this turn? I think so. This is an artifact now. Shenanigans. Dash. Dashing through the snow with a little old monkey. For a split second there, I thought they were going to take my monkey with an Archmage's Charm. I would have been so happy because I'm pretty sure this still goes back to your hand. Okay, exile the Tarn. Realistically, I have to kill my opponent before these come off suspend. We have to keep blowing up their lands. And we have to kill them before those come off suspend. Okay, this is now an artifact. That's just incorrect. Like making me not cast the shenanigans is just like, is 100% incorrect. So here I'm going to just go to my second main and I'm just going to cast my monkey. And this way, this just gets to keep getting in. We don't have to dash at the return. As much as the monkey likes dashing through the snow. Yeah, this is a little awkward. Not gonna lie. Probably supposed to draw 2, discard 2 here. We'll go. Draw 2, discard 2. Make a treasure token. Discard Ragavan. Discard Shenanigans. It's kind of interesting because, like, if they just cast Restore Balance here, I don't actually think it's that bad for us. Are we going down to 0 lands? Okay, we're going down to 0 lands. I will tap this. Maybe I was supposed to keep a monkey in my hand for this reason. Maybe I'm supposed to discard the Torque. So, like, play Canal. I can play Torque. Say sacrifice a creature. Okay, so he's gonna get to like tick this one down a little bit. I can play Torque. We have to sacrifice all of our treasures though. Not the biggest fan. But it does give us another mana source in play. So it's probably correct. Okay, play Torque, say go. So the game plan this game is going to be to... He's going to bring the Gargadon into play, and we're going to go Prismari command to shatter it, and then make a treasure. And we're just going to try and live this whole game off of treasures. This is now an artifact, sir. This is obviously artifact mana, so not that big of a deal. Blue, red, 1. Create a treasure token, destroy target artifact. This one. Eat it out of here. And yeah, he sacrifices it to the other Gargadon. Oh, vomit. Okay, this is an artifact. Destroy this artifact. So, I think I can go draw shenanigans, and I think this turn I'm actually going to blow up the As Foretold. And I'll take 4, go down to 2. Okay, yep, we're done here. It was a long shot that we were coming back on that one. My opponent had an interesting deck for sure. Not sure that there was anything else we could really done. My opponent's mostly like, this deck is obviously built to interact with creatures and planeswalkers and permanents, and my opponent didn't have very many. My opponent was mostly a spell decks, mostly a spells deck. I'll keep this. Feels like the deck just kind of plays a lot better whenever you have coding rather than when you don't. So I'm going to keep a hand with coding and see how it plays out. The thing I'm sort of trying to determine is, now that we have more coding effects, because I played this deck when we just had the 3 liquid metal coatings in the main deck and 1 in the board, and then Thieving Skydiver was your piece of interaction alongside like Kolaghan's Command. And you could play Shenanigans, you could play Abrade, obviously, all that stuff. And they're just like fine cards, but most of what you're doing is not super impressive. So I'm trying to figure out that you know, now that we have 5 liquid metal coatings in our main deck, or liquid metal effects for the most part, is that good enough, or do we need more like Thieving Skydiver effects? Suppose you could play the Ape too. I didn't actually think about that. There's like Gorilla Shaman. That's kind of neat. Am I supposed to force the cookbook? Probably. Oh, forced by exiling a blue card. There we go. Bobble. Mox Amber. Well, I no longer have any idea what my opponent's doing. Play a coding. That's kind of interesting though. Perhaps instead of I don't know, Ragavan seems really powerful, but perhaps instead of playing some of this counter magic, instead of the Force of Negation, Archmage's Charm, Counterspell Suite, maybe we're supposed to be playing more just interaction to the board. Because that's kind of what this deck wants to be doing, is just like tapping out, playing more things. So, for example, you could be playing Gorilla Shaman, I think is what the card's called. Ape Shaman, maybe? I can't remember the name of the card, but anyways, it's a 1-mana 1/1 that has an activated ability that destroys target non-creature artifact. So you can turn a land into an artifact and then pay 1 mana to destroy a land. It's kind of neato. Kind of neato. You could do something like that. Well, my opponent's gonna get to do some cool things, I think, this turn, but next turn is gonna be real good if my opponent doesn't do anything here. I think they need a land drop to, yep, Saga's gonna start making some Karnstructs. And it's gonna be hard for us to beat Karnstructs. Lay out Karn the Great Creator. Got a counterspell? If you do, that's disgusting. Wow, okay. That's just rude. That is just rude there, sir. See if I can find the monkey I'm talking about. This guy. So 1 mana 1/1. Destroy target non-creature artifact with mana value X. So you liquid metal coating a land. Destroy it. He doesn't interact with does not interact with creatures. Tad bit awkward, obviously. Can't blow up, can't liquid metal torque anything and then kill it with Gorilla Shaman. Okay, so we found another Karn. Am I supposed to take their Karnstruct here? Or am I just supposed to play Karn? I can't kill their Construct though, is the problem. Their Construct's huge, so it's just gonna kill Karn. So I can't just like keep doing Karn stuff. I think I'm gonna let them go to their turn, and then if they make a construct, I am going to take it. I'm going to take the one without summoning sickness. This is all fine. You may make the foods and rebuy the Daredevil. So he is making another construct. I'm just gonna go ahead and take this one here before. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like when I choose to do this, I'm just going to do this, so I may as well do it now. Guess I should have made him tutor his artifact up first before taking it. Yeah, this is kind of awkward now. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Actually, no, it's not. This is not awkward at all. Because now we have Cran. Yep. And Cran says this doesn't do anything. Make the foods. Do the things. Yep, sack to draw. I kind of figured that was coming. So I am going to definitely be eating the Urza Saga. And then on their upkeep, we will turn Spire Bluff Canal into an artifact. It's going to attack Karn. We are 1000% blocking. I am going to use Karn to go grab a bridge. I think. Suppose I could grab a ballista. Just block for another turn and then counterspell whatever they do. Yeah, I don't know if I want to just play Bridge into open mana, though. I mean, I know Bridge is like the best play here. Hey, Hydromaster371, I appreciate the follow. Thanks for tuning in. Bridge is definitely the best card. We know their hand is at least one copy of Oval Chase Daredevil. I think I'm going to grab... Yeah, I'm gonna grab Ballista here. I know this seems a little bit weird, but I'm gonna grab Ballista and play it for 1, just to buy myself 1 more turn. And that just resolves, so that tells me my opponent doesn't have anything. We will be coding the 2 red sources. So, turn off auto yields. Okay, they have a Misty. Nope, I would like to block. And then shoot my opponent for 1. Main reason for me wanting to do this is because if we draw exactly a land, which we did not, we get to protect the bridge, at least in this a little bit. So, still gonna play the bridge here, even though it's not necessarily going to 100% resolve. But it does. Okay. Spire Bluff Canal, Spire Bluff Canal. They played an Emery. So I will coat a canal. Karn a canal. Play a Liquimetal Torque. And then in my opponent's upkeep, we're going to coat a canal and then torque the Emery. Okay. Canal. Emery. Doesn't really matter if we hold up Force of Negation here. We already just have Counterspell up, so it's kind of neither here nor there. Because they're fetching, that tells me that they probably drew like a Galvanic Blast here. They're probably grabbing Steam Vents. And I'm going to counterspell a Galvanic Blast if they play one. They dashed a Ragavan. Okay, that card does get underneath our bridge, so I will definitely be counterspelling it. One at the Karn. Coat your canal, blow up your canal, lay out another torque, and then same targets for the liquimetals in my opponent's upkeep. We'll coat this, torque this, and this time I'm not going to tap the second torque. There's nothing else I want to target, so I'll just hold up the Force of Negation hard cast. This answers a Galvanic Blast if they find one of those. Got another monkey. Is a Gal Blast. Monkey would make this game interesting. Gal Blast makes it pretty much guaranteed that we're gonna probably lock this one up. It just means that we get to take the force out of our hand that was otherwise mostly dead. Okay, blow up Steam Vents. Coating Steam Vents. Torque the Emery. Cycle Street Wraith. As Mora. Okay. Does this deal damage to planeswalkers? No. Just damage to creatures. Okay. Don't really mind as Mora. Does give him something to do with his foods if I were to play a creature, but no creatures here. I'm gonna go grab a Steam Vents and untap. Karntrol take one again. Gonna blow up Steam Vents here. And play out my own. This is riveting gameplay, chat. I know this is what all you guys came here for. Okay, the dash a Ragavan, but I guess they don't realize that that can't attack. Coat that, and now we will bolt the Emery, and then that should probably lock up the game. I think they'll probably concede to this. Perhaps not. Okay. I just have another Emery. coat the island, blow up the island, play out the Misty, say go. Okay, now that we're officially at a point in the game where my opponent no longer has lands in play, let's see what Trav is doing. Oh. Don't mind me. I'm just hanging out, you know. Just playing some games. What am I doing here? Let's crack an eyelet and see what we draw. Nickel metal coating. Okay, well, that one's not ideal. I kind of forgot I could do this, but let's do that. This is now a creature. This will now block for me. Karnfather. Karnfather is powerful. Wow, that's rude. Okay, well, this is almost certainly what my opponent should have been doing, or should be doing, so I should have just seen that coming. My bad. Not a huge deal, though. Probably sends one at me. He's gonna ignore the Karn. He's just trying to kill me at this point. I'm not gonna coat that. I'm gonna do this during my turn. Coat this. Okay, load up. Play the monkey. Play second Karn. I'm just gonna go ahead and play this out so he doesn't keep attacking with Emery. And I'm just gonna start eating the foods. I guess my opponent was just waiting for me to play the last card out of my hand. Which I suppose makes some sense. Okay, so Blood Moon probably comes in against the Urza Saga deck. And then what else do we want? Fury seems okay. Shenanigans seems pretty good against the Karnstructs. There's kind of just like these cards in and then like on out, maybe. Maybe counterspell out. I think Fawn's kind of worse. Maybe it's Ragavan. A nasty Raggy. Yeah, let's submit something like this. We don't have very many win conditions if we board out all of our monkeys. So it's definitely a little bit weird, a little bit awkward. We don't have very many win conditions in general in this deck, but I'm just hoping that my opponent concedes to the Karn. I play Karn. Would you like to concede? No? Okay, well, we're dead. We died. I guess we could like animate bridge. You know, like we could attack with bridge. Once you like kill all of your opponent's stuff, theoretically, you can start attacking with your artifacts. But it takes a while to get there. Force on negation. Okay, that's a monkey. Can't force that one. Oh, maybe I should have not auto-yelled. Auto-yielded. Fiery Islet. Bolt the monkey. Okay. I didn't think about that hard enough, but that may have been incorrect for me to do that there. Like in the timing that I did, at least, not necessarily like the actual action of bolting the monkey. That's 100% correct. but the timing that I selected of doing it during my main phase is probably not correct. If you do it during their upkeep, there's no way that you get Metallic Rebuked, and they're no longer holding up Force of Negation if they're playing that. I didn't see it in game 1, but they certainly could be. Especially in their board. I would like to stop in my opponent's upkeep. I would not like to stop on my opponent's upkeep because this is not a Liquid Metal Coating. This is a Liquid Metal Torque, and it doesn't target lands. I have registered this bad card in my deck. Monkey. Okay. I would like to take your monkey, please. Can I has? That's a nice monkey. This is my monkey. Galvanic Blast the monkey. No, listen. I insist. I insist. I insist. It's okay. The monkey is mine. Okay, that deck was cool. I don't know if it's any good. So takeaways on this deck. I think there's probably a better way to build this. How exactly? I'm not 100% sure. I think this package is a little bit weird in this deck. Right here, this sort of counter sweep package is a little bit weird in this deck. Everything else that's like playing to the board seems pretty powerful. So maybe you want to swap this for like I said earlier, Gorilla Shaman seems somewhat interesting. Just as another way to, sort of benefit off of playing the liquid metal effects. So you need more ways to not only like find liquid metal effects and have liquid metal effects, but you need ways to actually benefit off of having liquid metal effects in play. So Gorilla Shaman's kind of an interesting way of doing that. Liquid metal coating, obviously, being a just a way to like turn your land into an artifact, and then like you can shaman blow up their land, so you can start getting that interaction going much earlier, rather than trying to wait until you have Karn down. Again, just to sort of put my closing thoughts on this Karn monkey deck, I think we need to find a different direction to go. I think we're gonna try a different build of this with like Liquid Metal Torque, one more copy of Liquid Metal Torque, the Gorilla Shamans, and then I'm gonna cut the like Counterspell, Archmage's Charm, and Force of Negation package. Maybe we just play like Black-Red. You can play Culligan's Command instead of Prismari Command. I don't hate it. We can play more Furies that way, and evoking Fury in a deck that plays Culligan's Command is not that big of a deal. You just get to pick it back up later. That's kind of neato. Kind of a neato thought. But we do want to play Thieving Skydiver, so we have to play blue. Don't know. Okay, I'll think about some options for that one. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and tune off here tonight, guys. I really appreciate everyone coming into the stream, all the follows. Really appreciate it. Thank you all for coming in and chatting, just being great in general. I will see you guys same time tomorrow night, and have a good rest of your evening.